Hello, John Neal here, vlog 55, take 2. Yesterday I cycled a total of 22 miles down to Furzel in Coventry to look at the house that George Eliot lived in called Bird Grove, at the request of Sisyphus, the rock pusher from California. All went extremely well. It was a sunny day for the most part. And I came back with the footage, video, various places, and worked for about 5 hours producing, I have to say, one of my best videos. And that was satisfying, I have to say, in itself. However, at the last minute, I basically lost it. All the footage just didn't disappear. It's sort of there, but I can't access it. And I've just rung Apple support, who actually are very, very good, and just spoke to a technician for about an hour. He on my computer screen trying to retrieve everything, but couldn't be done. I learned a lot more about Final Cut Pro, which is what I'm using. So it's disappointing, but not completely lost. So I still have the footage on the camera. So I'm going to give you a truncated version of the day. And just to briefly go through, I went to Nuneaton, looked at the statue of George Eliot in Nuneaton, and then called in various places en route to get down to Furzel. I'll show you some little bits of footage, but I just don't have the heart to go over all the video again for 5 hours. It was good, I have to tell you. Take my word for it, it was pretty good stuff. But no, here's a truncated version. So it's vlog 5502. Okay, enjoy. Well, good morning. It's Tuesday the 18th of August 2020 here in Nuneaton, and Sisyphus, a friend of mine in Southern California, has asked for some information about Mary Ann Evans, that is George Eliot again, and this time he asks about Bird Grove, which is a house in Furzel. So, well, the challenge has been set, the request has been made, so I'll take him on a little tour of one or two of the places as well associated with George Eliot as we go on this route. It's about 9 miles from here down to Coventry. Okay, let's go. Well, the first stop is going to be in Nuneaton town centre, where there is a statue of George Eliot. George Eliot, born 1819 to 1880, born at Arbury, Nuneaton. This is a recently installed seat outside the town hall in the middle of Nuneaton. See if you can spot a portrait of George Eliot, a pen, her name, and the opening pages of a book set in the support underneath the seat. Behind the town hall we have the George Eliot Memorial Gardens, with this very fine stone here set in the grounds of what is part of Riversley Park. On the way towards Bedworth is Griff House, where George Eliot lived. It's now a pub and a restaurant, and the face of the building that we might recognise from earlier pictures is this round the corner. And to the back and the side there's some old outbuildings which were to be demolished, I understand, but were kept because they were here at the time that George Eliot lived here. Well, you would not believe the difficulties I overcome to fulfil this mission. I've just come up this road here, which is from the bottom and hardly used part of the Miners' Welfare Park in Bedworth, and the Arbury estate was the estate that George Eliot's father worked on, and she was very mindful of the fact that they were very, very rich, and they still are. You can still go there and see the splendour of the house, and she also knew the difficulties that the working people had, and most of them were miners. Coal mines around here, and that's where the Nuneaton family that lived at Arbury Hall made their money. Well, I finally made it down to the canal side, on the side that's got the cycle path on it, and I'm going to make my way down now to Hawkesbury Junction. It's great that they've made this cycle path here, and this special bench been made by an artist, as you can see, and all the way down here they've made an effort to make the canal side less industrial and more tourist attractive anyway. And Hawkesbury Junction's junction of the Coventry Canal and the Oxford Canal, and I think this bit's the Oxford Canal here, so let's go on down there. Oh, by the way, that noise you can hear is the M6, the motorway, one of the busiest in the whole of Europe, and this section is at least anyway. Yeah, so that would be a constant background for a while. An indication of the mix of industry and leisure. The industry often wins out here because this was a working transport system, and nearby here was the Coventry power station, hence all these power lines all over the place. This is my brother-in-law, George, looking far too well for a man in his mid-80s, but his family were canal people, and George didn't live in a house until he was about 8 years old. So his parents worked the canal on the transport boats back in the 20s and 30s. Nowadays, of course, the boats are used largely for pleasure, and this is a lock at Hawkesbury Junction. If you don't know what a canal lock is, I'll have to tell you another time. Hawkesbury Canal Junction, Sutton Stop, junction of Brindley's Coventry and Oxford canals of the 1760s, modified in the 1830s, traditional mooring of working narrowboats. Here we are, George Eliot Road in Foswell, Coventry. You can hear all the traffic. Let me just show you. This is the Foswell Road, and there's an old building which is now largely empty. There's somebody at the top there. So let's nip down this way and have a look where this house is. Well, this is Bird Grove, and to be honest, it's a rather sad climax to this quest. It's a little bit run down, and it's in a very poor area of Coventry. No doubt in its heyday it was a little bit more special than this. Right, well, I've just come to Cash's Lane, which is only barely 400 yards away from the George Eliot house, Bird Grove. And this is where Cash's, the ribbon makers and weavers, were an impressive and important industry. And apparently George Eliot was familiar with these people, not Cash's as such, but George Eliot was familiar with Charles Bray. And he, with other people in Coventry at the time, in the mid-1800s, were a sort of an intellectual, artistic group that she exchanged ideas with. Well, Mr. Sisyphus, the rock pusher, I shall call you. Thanks for the suggestion of that. It's about a 20-mile ride. But managed to dodge most of the showers. So, yeah, I hope this story is worthwhile.